first dates should have the opportunity to be the best first date of your life. And I said that. They're like, no, like coffee should be your first date.
I agree with that.
But you're enabling men to do less.
Could you FaceTime? Would you have more of an interaction with the person prior to?
No, for me, my first dates are always fun and extravagant. I call them marathons. Like I want my first date to be like 7 or 8 hours.
I have written a whole book on why that's such a bad idea.
But
that will keep you single.
But what if you don't like the girl?
Then why would I go on a date with her?
You didn't know.
So I'm coming at this from a very scientific perspective, okay? First off, the best first dates are the ones that you're side by side, not across from each other. You're immediately like 80% chance of going to the second date. You know, people have to naturally be able to talk and looking around. And when you're facing a stranger, it's a lot of eye contact. Look, I've gotten thousands of people engaged. I know my stuff here, okay?
I'm not doubting that at all.
All right. Welcome to the Ask a Matchmaker podcast. I'm your host, Matchmaker Maria. I'm still looking pretty because I went on CBS Mornings today and they did my hair and makeup. So if you like it, please comment on the post and give me more validation. Thank you. I'm joined again by this month's co-host, comedian Tara Cannistraci. Welcome back. I said it right?
Yeah, you're killing it.
I mean, parla italiano?
Yeah, no, very little. Yeah.
I mean, I speak Italian.
New York Italian.
All right.
Yeah.
Before we get into our episode, I want to remind you that this podcast is for everyone single in a relationship. This podcast gives no nonsense This podcast gives no nonsense insights into dating, relationships, and of course, love in modern times. While you're here enjoying this, why don't you pre-order my book, Ask a Matchmaker? It comes out in May. So excited for this. This is happening. All right. Now that we're here, I am so excited to introduce also another author and another person who has a podcast, Ricky Liorti.
Thanks for having me, Maria. I appreciate you.
I am so happy. So wait, you're the host of the Pals podcast.
Yep.
Tell me about that.
Started it with my best friend back in 2020 as a way to just sit down uninterrupted and just hang out once a week for an hour. And here we are 5 years later. I actually do it with a different best friend now. And I just hit 300 episodes. So it's kind of remarkable. Like 300 episodes is for someone in a podcast, you know how insane that is.
That's hard. She has a podcast too.
Yeah, it's great. 300.
Our 300, powers combined.
That's it.
Teamwork. United.
You got it. We're so old. Okay, so
age
you're
is just
Canadian.
a number. Remember that.
You're Canadian.
Yep.
Where in Canada?
Toronto.
I have a Canadian question.
Go.
How many times does Trump have to say that you are the 51st state before you invade us and liberate us?
Quite the opposite. I think you guys are going to invade us before anything else happens. Oh. The states is, we are the little brother to the big brother states. So whatever you guys do, we just follow. Whoever's in charge down here, we just follow whatever you guys do.
You're not helping this. Now they are going to make you the 51st state.
Hey, whatever happens.
Does it offend you?
No, look, Canada used to be such a great place. And now I don't love it like I used to. Even Toronto, like as a whole, I'm like the biggest Toronto hardo ever. Like I love it. I ride or die for Toronto all the time. Ever since COVID, I feel like it lost its spark. Everybody's just trying to survive instead of thrive. That's the best way to describe it now. It's a shame because Toronto used to be amazing. It felt like New York.
Yeah, I love Toronto.
It felt like a little New York. We were like the mini New York.
You also have like a New York subway thing in there too, right?
Yeah. Well, our subway used to be really good 20 years ago.
No. I mean, like you actually have like a New York subway street because of the filming.
Oh yeah, we do actually. It's an old abandoned subway station that they use for filming. A lot of New York TV shows are filmed in Toronto because it's like half the price. Suits is the best example. Yeah.
I'm so happy you came down here for us. You went viral. And this kicked off, I feel like, your content creator journey.
Yeah.
Do you mind if we watch these?
Let's watch it. I haven't seen it in so long. I haven't seen it in years.
He watches it every night before bed.
What year was this posted?
This would have been 2021, I think.
Okay.
Or 2022.
Looking for my forever partner. Okay, we got a number 2. Hold on.
I don't even remember number 2. Oh, yeah. This one was good, too.
Ricky, these are a lot of solo shots, man.
I mean, isn't that the whole idea of your dating app?
Not when you're a street man. I mean, even the last shot is with a
My friends stirred me for that one a lot, but it's funny. It's funny.
So what happened after this?
So I posted it just as like a random trend. I think I was like working down in Houston at the time. I was on like a work trip and I posted it. I went to bed, didn't think anything of it. When I opened my phone, it was like, I thought my phone was going to explode. Like I gained 10,000 followers overnight. I had, I don't know, 5 to 10,000 DMs. Like everything, I could refresh an app and it was just like unlimited notifications instantly. Like you just swipe down to refresh and it's boom, 99. It was the crazy, like me and my friends were sitting there. We're just like,
what's happening?
Yeah, like what is this?
What were the DMs saying to you?
Oh,
Were they applying?
Most were positive. Most were positive DMs. Most were really nice people, like shooting their shot. You get some hate ones. You get some like, yo, fuck you, asshole, like whatever. And I'm just like, okay. And then you know the gay men are always in there too. And you know, I mean, I'm cool with gay people too, but they shoot their shots harder than anybody else.
Good for them.
Yeah, I respect it. Shoot your shot. But mostly just women, yeah, being like, hey, love this, saw this. How can we go on a date? And I'm like, I don't even know. Like, I don't know what. There's just too much information overload here. I had no idea what to do.
Well, what did you go on any dates?
From that directly, no. But
Wait, you had like 5 to 10,000?
Yeah, I didn't even make it through like.
You couldn't make it through all of them. Okay.
Anytime you would respond to one and like go back to DMs, there was just like 100 more. So you don't even know where you left off.
Okay.
It was for a week straight, it was insane. Like I got like calls from like different blogs to interview me. I'm like, what the like I'm just a normal dude that made a TikTok that went viral. Like it was beyond me.
Right.
So I didn't go on any dates because of that, but the aftermath of that, like you obviously now I do the social media thing. So like I gained a couple followers and because of Instagram, I've gone on a lot of dates. Or I used to. I don't really date as much anymore, but like that during that time.
Well, I don't know.
Like
you might get a resurgence. I mean, you kind of look like Luigi.
You know who I get a lot actually? Mark Ruffalo. I get Mark Ruffalo like every single day.
Yeah, but Luigi is wearing an orange jumper this week.
Yeah. So yeah, he's not someone I'd want to be compared to.
If Mark Ruffalo and Luigi had a baby, it's
that
here,
would be
sitting next to us on the couch.
So, are you currently in a relationship?
No, currently single, miserably single.
Miserably single.
No, I'm kidding. I say that just like there's no roster, there's no females that I'm like super pursuing.
Females.
Yeah.
Women.
Yeah.
Why are you calling them females?
I don't know. What do we? Is females not?
That's like male podcast speak.
Is it?
It's women's zone here now.
Okay, so there's no women.
You can't use females.
Really? Is that like?
Sounds like you're talking about like a lion. I don't know.
Yeah.
Okay, so no women I'm really currently pursuing.
Okay.
So that's why I'm miserable single. But I'm like very happily single.
Okay.
Like my life.
Wow, we went
overall
from
is
miserable
amazing.
to happily.
Yeah, I just meant like miserable in the sense that like there's zero women.
Yeah.
That I'm seriously working with or working on.
This is
no
gross.
real prospects. No real prospects. Yeah.
I love that for you. I want to
that.
learn though more about like how do you date?
I guess how do I date is I no one's really asked me that. How do I date? Which is
Well, how do you meet new people?
Yeah, how do I meet new people? Just out and about. I don't
Say that again.
Yeah, out and about.
Out and about sounds so Canadian.
Say that one more time.
So Canadian.
Yeah, out and about.
Say out and about, eh?
I do say A lot. I do say it, especially when I'm asking a question.
Tell me, how do you say H2O?
H2O.
No, like what?
Water.
Huh?
Water.
Oh, it's okay.
Water.
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 Like with a D.
Yeah, see, I can see that.
Yeah.
Well, Toronto's the big one.
You guys got the
If you don't pronounce the second T.
I know that.
Yeah,
because I
Toronto.
performed there. That's why.
Anyone who says Toronto, it's like, where are you from?
Yeah.
You're not from
Chicago.
there. Yeah.
Obviously.
Toronto.
Yeah.
All right. So you so how do you meet women then?
Out and about. Yeah. Honestly,
Yeah.
just through friends or going out. I love to go out. I love to do things. I'm always doing a million different things at any given time. Like go to work, go to the gym, go to a sporting event, go to a concert. And I just love meeting new people. So like I'm the type of guy that I'll walk up to a random person with like no shame. Like, hey, love your glasses, love your style. What's your name? Ricky, nice to meet you.
Okay. So let's do the stats here for our ladies listening.
Okay.
All right. I'm a single man here. All right. So you are 34.
Yeah.
What's your height?
5'11". 5'10" and 3/4 if we're gonna be exact.
And then you are Italian.
I'm Brazilian, yeah.
Okay. And Catholic?
Yeah. Not practicing.
Non-practicing?
Yeah, but I believe in God.
And what is your job?
My real job is construction. I don't talk about it online that much anymore just because I try and at my day job, I'm like this like 45-year-old man who's senior management at a construction company.
This sounds way better for the dating profile.
Yeah. Well, no, and then on the
man
side,
with a
I'm like some
podcast.
25-year-old punk who, makes TikToks and does podcasts and travels the world. So I live a very different life. So online, I don't talk about my construction life. But I work in construction, like a very normal day job.
That's a great day job. It won't be replaced by AI.
Never.
And do you want to get married and have kids one day? Definitely want to get married and have kids. And I thought to be honest, earlier this year, I met somebody and I thought that was my person. I really did.
And
Did they live in Toronto?
No, they were actually living in California.
Why are you dating someone in California?
Because that was the person I met.
How did you meet them?
Online, social media. She commented on one of my videos one day, and I was like, "This is an angel. Like, hello, I love you." Not exactly like that, but very similar.
So just her picture, you just felt it looking at
well,
pictures?
it was her vibe. It was just she traveled
Yeah.
a lot. She like hosted a TV show. She was always doing the things that I do, and we are the exact same person. Like we are always going and metaphorically trying to take over the world. And I literally crept. I was like, "Oh my god! Like this is my mirrored reflection." So we dated for a little bit, and unfortunately, it didn't work out. But she's still like arguably the most amazing person I've ever met.
That's not going to help your dating profile.
It's fine.
No, that's cool because you want. I mean, it also goes back to what we said in our first episode together about finding the mirror image of yourself and how we sometimes. Look
Oh
for
no,
that.
I like
Yeah.
that. But now imagine like his future wife is listening to this from Toronto,
Right.
and I'm gonna make you stick to your own
Actually,
country now.
to be honest, I don't think my future wife is in my hometown. I always joke about it, but like I don't love the city anymore like I used to. The energy's not there, the vibe's not there, the charisma's not there, the spark isn't
You're
there.
not dating a city.
But I like that. Not
But it's
limiting
people in the
yourself.
city too, right? I have no problem with a long distance relationship. I did one when I was in my 20s.
Okay, why didn't it work with the girl from with the woman from California?
Ironically distance, but it's also because we were both traveling a lot when we met, and we had all these like big travel plans before we met. So
Okay.
she went to Europe for a month, like maybe 3 months into our relationship. So
Okay.
that puts a little bit of a strain on a
Mhm.
relationship, right? Like she's, this beautiful model that's, at, I don't know, this
Do you
event.
usually only date models?
No, that was my first time dating a model, and I will do my best to stay away from a model again.
Okay.
It's tough. Like I'm a very secure person. I'm very confident in who I am and my relationships and everything. But sometimes it is tricky when you're dating arguably the most beautiful person in the world who is doing the most amazing things at all times. It can be tough, especially when you're long distance and you don't have the steady connection. You got a 7-hour time difference. It's tough.
Were you jealous?
Not
There
jealous,
was
but I
moments of,
want.
like,
There were times,
insecurity,
there were
yeah.
times where I just wanted a little bit more than she was willing to give, and I don't think there's anything wrong with that. I believe that that's fine. I didn't
Yeah.
do my best in communicating it, which caused some of the issues, and that's why it kind of ended. If we lived in the same place or if we were traveling together, I don't think it would have been a problem. But again, you live and you learn. In this relationship, it was my first time in a relationship in honestly 5 years, and it reminded me of my capacity to love. And I'm so thankful for this relationship, and I'm so grateful for it because I forgot what love felt like. And I forgot the deep emotions and I write it in almost every book I sign now. It's like in heartbreak, we are reminded of our capacity to love.
Right.
Because to me, that's like one of the most amazing feelings ever. Like
Mhm.
as much as heartbreak sucks, the more you're heartbroken, the bigger your capacity to love, because it just knows that your heart's that big. So it was very unfortunate, but at the end of the day, I am forever grateful for that relationship.
What lessons did you learn from that relationship?
Communicate even more clearly. I think I'm a very good communicator. I think I communicate my wants and my needs pretty well. But sometimes when you're in a place of insecurities or insecure place, sometimes you don't clearly communicate them. And because I would have done something, I almost got mad at them for not doing it. And I'll give a good example.
Okay.
And this was like one from our relationship. I was having a bad day. I own a pickleball team. Really random. If you guys know what pickleball is in Canada, I own a team.
We know pickleball in America too.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
really popular.
It's really, well,
Yeah.
in New York, it's not as popular as like California, Florida, whatever. Anyway, so I own this professional team up in Canada. My team like sucked one day. We like win 1-4.
Okay.
So I'm texting her back and forth. She's in like Monaco or Paris or something. Like, cool. So I get home. I'm like, hey, like, I know you just got out. Like, hey, if you got like, let's chat. So she's like, oh, like I'm going swimming with the group. And I'm like, oh, cool. Like, I'll go fuck myself then. But I didn't communicate that, hey, I had a really shitty day. I want to talk to you. Can you just free up 10 minutes? Instead, I got mad at her for not wanting to talk to me instead of going swimming with a bunch of friends. So it's like, yeah, it's my fault. I didn't clearly communicate it, but at the same time, it would have been nice if they would have just knew.
So was there a fight?
Not a fight, but just like the next day, like you know when you're dry to someone the next day because you're low key upset about something. So that's what happened, and like that's kind of how it started to get bad.
Okay, let me ask you a question. Okay, so this person that you dated and you found that you have capacity for love and all that stuff. At what point did you ever get to the point where you envisioned a future with them?
Oh yeah, like almost right away.
And where did that future take place? Give me the vision board of this relationship for a second.
So she was in California. I live in Toronto. She's Australian originally, so she's out there now doing her thing. And we always said like, yeah, we'll figure it out. Whether it's maybe we settle in, I don't know, Florida, Texas, New York, California, Toronto, wherever. Like we
But
can.
you work in construction.
Yeah, but I can figure things out. I love to travel. I love, I can work.
Everyone likes to travel, right? You're not saying something that everyone in this room doesn't participate in.
Well, no, I mean, my parents are snowbirds. So my parents live in Florida for basically half the year, for 4 months of the year.
Okay.
So you could do 4 months in Florida, a couple months in Toronto, and then a couple months in Europe or something. I can still work remote.
Oh, you can work remote.
Well, I'm not in the field like, with a shovel in my hand every day on site. I'm an office job and it's a family business too. So I have a little bit more leeway and flexibility. Okay. But we always said like, we'll figure it out. We would have figured it out.
And how do you, okay, but this person was a model.
Yeah.
So they also, like a comedian, right? Like they have to travel a lot
they do stuff, but they still have a home base.
You have a home base.
You still have a home base. And your home base can change depending on what time of the year it is, where you're from.
Do you want to have kids?
Yeah, definitely.
So how do you visualize, I feel like a lot of women, I feel like a lot of people in relationships, I don't want to say women. I feel like in general, people look for a relationship. It's also looking for stability. Right? Like having that partner to come home to. Yes, the home is where the heart is. The home can shift, but there is this stability that needs to exist.
So I 100% agree with you. But when you meet someone that's like you and she was exactly like me, you can align and you can figure that out. My person will know that this is the life that I want. I want to be going 100 miles an hour until one day things change and maybe we have kids and then we settle down and we pick two homes. Once
school starts.
Yeah. I said, I want to raise my kids somewhere warm. I don't want to raise my kids in Toronto. Because I want my kids to be playing outside every single day after school or in their free time. I want my kids to be going on walks. And if that means splitting time between Toronto and Florida or one of these southern states where it's warm or even Europe, I have no problem doing that. Again, people are like, oh, you can't just pick your kid up and go. It's like, yeah, you kind of can. Like, and in my perfect world, you can.
The best parents are people without kids. It's really hard what you just said.
I agree it is. It won't be easy, but it's possible.
It's really hard. Just because it's possible.
I'll let you know when it happens.
Yeah, let me know.
We'll circle back in 10 years.
It's really hard.
We'll circle back in 10 minutes.
So you have hot takes.
Yeah.
I want to go through these hot takes. Let's go with your first one.
Social media is the best dating app, no questions asked. Instagram is the best dating app always. Like I know people are like Hinge, Bumble, Tinder, whatever. I've gone on way more dates because of Instagram than anything else.
Can I ask, is it through you messaging women or women messaging you or both?
More me messaging women.
Okay.
But
so should somebody have their profile public?
No, it doesn't matter. Sometimes you see a funny comment or you see somebody in a tag picture or someone shows up on your explore page and you're like, oh, I like that person's vibe. You can tell a person's vibe through Instagram way better than their Hinge dating profile.
I don't know if I would agree with that.
Well, yeah, because you can scroll and there's so much accessibility.
Like now I do this content thing. But before I did this content, if you went to my Instagram, it was a perfect, clear depiction of who I am. Like you could go to my Instagram and be like, I know who Ricky is. Now, because I do content, there's a lot more and it's not, you can't pinpoint exactly who I am. Some people are like, oh, he's just this like single date. No, there's a lot more to me than just the single TikTok dating guy. But before it was like, if you saw it, like it was sports, music, travel. And I'm trying to get back to that because I feel like this summer I got caught up in the game too much. I got caught up in posting TikToks to go viral and growing my following and all that. I got away from posting content for me and myself. And the tricky part with content is because now I have a following, I post things that I like, but it's also I post things that my audience wants to see in my following, my community. So when I started posting a lot of these breakup quotes, like if you see the DMs I get, they're the most positive, like nicest messages ever. People be like, oh my God, like, thank you so much. I was going through a really bad thing. And like your video just like hit me in the heart and I feel so much better. So then how do you stop making those videos?
Yeah,
how do you stop creating things that people love? And then I'm creating things that I love and like they get 5,000 views, 10,000 views. I create something that I know my audience is going to love and it does 1 million. So you get caught up.
I go through that same thing.
You get caught up in this cycle and I'm like, fuck, I don't. So I've slowly stopped. I'm getting back to the quotes that I really love, not the ones that I think are going to go viral. The ones that I love, and I'm posting more about pickleball, travel, concerts, sports, my podcast, my life, and actually about me as opposed to posting things just to go viral. But back to the hot take, Instagram, and I will die by this, is the best dating app in the world. I actually use Instagram to make friends.
You're also like you're kind of limited to the people, just like I guess you're limited to people who use Hinge, you're limited to the people that use Instagram.
And everybody opens Instagram once a day, minimum.
Right.
Most people don't open their dating profiles once a day.
So what tip would you give to someone who wants to shoot their shot?
Shoot it. Doesn't matter. Just give a nice positive comment in the DMs. Hey, again, like your jeans. Those are great. Think you're cool. What's up? My name's Ricky, or so whatever it is. And for women listening, I don't know what your audience is. If you're a woman shooting your shot with a man, you have a way greater success rate than men do. Like man shooting their shot with women in the DMs, you're 1 in a million. Women shooting your shot with men, it doesn't happen as often. So women who shoot their shots have a way higher shooting percentage than men. That is fact.
As long as they're going within their range.
Yeah. Like, you're shooting your
I
shot
have
with
friends
like
that sometimes go for a guy. I'm like, in what world?
Yeah,
is this
like
your
I've shot my
match?
shot with Dua Lipa
Let's
100
be
times and I've
honest.
missed like every time.
Dua, get on board.
I
We got
wish-
Ricky here.
Dua Lipa, Gracie Abrams, I love you both.
See, I think I would, if I were to shoot my shot, if I were single, I would probably find like the things that I like if I'm using Instagram and like find the location. Like let's say a restaurant, right? It has like the tag location. So
Great idea.
And then I would go through there and be like, okay, who posted food here? You know?
Well, the algorithm is so smart now that I see so many people that align with things I align with. You know,
Right.
pickleball. I see so many pickleball players. Like people who travel the
So
world.
you don't need online. You could meet people through pickleball in Toronto.
Oh, I do everything. I haven't met anyone in pickleball specifically, but like even run clubs. Everyone's like run clubs are the new dating app. I was in 2 run clubs and I didn't meet a single
Backgammon
romantic
Club is the new dating.
What is it?
Backgammon Club for sure. Oh
This
my
is
God, New York
news to
City
me.
Backgammon Club. That's the spot. My husband belongs
Who
to 2
knew? That's
backgammon
where it's
clubs.
gonna be
For
lit.
real.
Oh
Yeah.
man, ladies. All right, your next one is. I'm not gonna even say it. I don't want video of me saying this.
I'll say it. I will die by this sword as well. Never settle. Be picky. Wait to find your person. Don't date and don't get married and don't settle just because society tells us we have to. Just because you hit 30, and for women, again, biological clocks, I completely understand that. But it is better to be happily alone than miserable with somebody.
I don't
or
disagree
the
with
wrong
that.
I agree
person.
with that.
Yeah.
Don't settle because someone checks the boxes. Oh, he's got a good family. Oh, he's good looking enough. Oh, he's got a good career. You know what? They'll make a good husband. No. Date somebody that makes your heart fucking engulf in flames. Date someone that you can't stop thinking about. Date someone.
That's terrible.
Okay,
I
not
think
engulf
it's
in
gotta
flames.
be.
But you know what
I
I
think
mean, like
it's gotta
fire.
be a combo deal situation.
No,
Date
fuck the
someone
boxes.
You have to
Who-
have
the
the
boxes.
feeling initially, but just the feeling alone is not going
It's
to
not
make
enough.
a marriage.
Date someone who
Marriage
emotional
is going to be the
stability.
hardest thing
Don't
you
get me wrong.
ever do in
Stability
your
you
life.
want, but it's like somebody that puts a twinkle in your eye. Someone that you want to stay up late talking on the phone with, even though you know you got to go to work in the morning. Someone that makes you want to skip the gym. Not actually skip the gym, but like skip something that you love doing. Do something that you want to spend every day with. Someone that you don't want to live without.
Okay, but again, it also has to. I agree. I was
You're
never
talking
one
to
to
2
settle.
married
I met
people.
someone who,
Yeah.
So it's
but
really
marriage
hard.
is the hardest thing you're ever going to do in your life.
Agreed.
So for me, it's like there has to be a certain level of, I say don't settle. That was my thing. I met plenty of guys before. I was like, I just know it's not it.
Yeah.
Doesn't make a difference what I feel in one room of the house. The other rooms of the house are not going to work with this person. So for me, it was like,
Ooh, say that again.
Yeah.
I love what you just said.
because a lot of times you're led by lust, like, and it was like, oh my God, you get almost like an addiction to the feeling that you have in just
Yeah.
that one room,
Uh-huh.
which was not my
Wink,
kitchen.
wink.
Although sometimes it was.
Laundry
But-
room.
There you
I
go.
found one of those eyelashes on my kid right by my refrigerator one day. I was like, well, that shows you I had a good night. But
Or a good morning.
right there. But I do say this, like, even with being too picky from the start, like, people sometimes have a preconceived notion of what somebody should or needs to be, and then they don't explore other options and people that could really rock their heart and like change the course of their life, because it wasn't somebody they had had the resume out where they check those boxes either. Like, you have to be willing to not be so picky that it's like, I'm not looking at
I feel
other
like,
things.
I'm sorry for interrupting you,
Yeah.
Tara. I feel like I personally try not to use the words "don't settle." I understand what you're saying, so don't get me wrong, Ricky. Here, I just think that there's a way to have, like, I have these certain standards that I want in a relationship and how I feel in that relationship, and I think sometimes we get this phrase, "I'm never going to settle." It gets so ingrained into the brain that's actually what ends up happening. It's like, okay, well then you're settling for no one has asked you to settle.
There's no growth there.
Right? And I think if you're thinking about what settling is, it's almost, I can understand saying like, let me say this one more time. I feel like a lot of the people that tell me like, well, I never settled. It's like, okay, do you think I did? Like, why are you saying this to me? You know, like sometimes you hear this and
because sometimes people who are single, especially as we get older, people look at us like we're lesser people.
Yes.
People look at us like, oh, like there's something wrong with us because we're not married by 30. It's like, whoa, there's nothing wrong with us. You found your person at a young age and I'm so happy for you. And it makes my heart so full to know that people found their people at younger ages. That makes me so happy. But I also know people that have settled because they hit 30 and they want to have kids by 33 or 34 or 35. And they get, and I'm like, I know I've known you my whole life. I don't think you're that happy, but it's not my place to judge. But we get judged, the single people, when we're in our 30s, like, oh, like, what's wrong with you? It's like, there's nothing wrong with me. I'm just not going to get in a relationship or date just to date or have kids because that's what society tells me. I'm going to wait for my absolute perfect person. And while I think there's absolutely
there's no perfect person.
It's funny.
There's no perfect person.
Yeah.
But there is my perfect person. There's your perfect person. There's your perfect person.
So who's your perfect person?
Don't know. I got to go find them.
Yeah.
If I found my perfect person, I'd
believe
be
that
married.
we are subject to a lot of I was subject to a lot of criticism.
Oh, especially women. Oh my God, you guys have it way worse.
I kind of said this, earlier in our previous episode, but like, unless somebody's living the life I imagined for myself, then their advice really isn't
it's like respectfully, fuck you.
It's like like respectfully, I'll know what's right for me when it's right for me.
And as long as you're happy.
Right.
As long as you're happy. That's
and I always was.
Thing.
I was always happy single.
Same, and I'm very happy. I said my life is a 99 out of 100. My person is my 1% I'm missing. Am I going to risk my 99 for someone that maybe might be that extra one? No, I'm not. I'm going to keep at 99. My 99 out of 100 is fucking amazing. So if I'm going to risk that happiness, I got to know the risk is worth the reward.
And you're going to make the plan. Tell us about it.
Oh, another hot take. So now this whole notion that, and I'm not anti-feminist, I'm not super feminist. I believe that men and women are equal, but when it comes to dating, they are not equal. Men need to step up and plan the dates, take the lead and do everything. Men should pay right from the get-go. You want to split bills because you think that men and women are equal? Cool, great, no problem. But in reality, men should plan the date, men should take the lead, men should organize, confirm the date earlier on, make the plans and make it a real good experience for that other person, because women are taking 3 to 4 hours to get ready and do their hair and makeup and pick outfits and whatever else women do in their time getting ready for dates.
Everything showers.
Everything showers. Shaving your entire body in a 30-minute shower or whatever.
Ask us how much it costs the laser.
Right.
And then go 50-50.
Yeah, exactly. That's why. But men are like, oh, well, it's like, no, men should not be splitting bills, especially like until you're like in a very long-term relationship. Men need to step up and do better. And I have so many horror stories from females where it's like
women.
Women. I apologize.
I'm gonna get this out of your.
Yeah. So I've heard so many like horror stories from women where like they've been asked to split the bill, and I'm like, really? On a first or second date, even on a third date? Like, what are we talking about here?
Yeah.
What are we talking about? Like, men need to do better. So I don't know if that's a hot take, but
go ahead, Tara.
No, it is. I just got interviewed. I just did this exact thing, and I'm like, I don't care if it's 2025. Like, chivalry to a certain extent should not be dead. Yep. I don't subscribe to it. I am a contributor in my home. I have a whole bunch of other things now that I'm married. But if a guy, I don't want to split a bill on a first date. Like, it's just, I don't care what you're. I don't want a guy getting off an elevator before I've gotten off the elevator. Like, there are certain things. Call them old school. Call them, outdated. I
call them equitable.
Yeah. I mean,
because that's what it is.
But people don't think so. People think that equitable means you are both participating on that first date. Well, I want a guy. Listen,
not
at the end
equal,
of the day, I'll tell you right
equitable.
now. Do I want anybody making a plan for me at this point in my life? Hell no. I make all the plans. I make all the. Yeah. But initially, I want someone to plan. I want a man with a plan.
Listen, you're both preaching to the choir, because I'm the one that got all this hate over the summer.
Oh, did you? I didn't even know this.
Holy God.
I thought you were going to disagree, so tell us.
Like,
I was like, I'm going to have to agree with our friend Ricky here.
I'm a matchmaker. I only take men as clients. Women are free. So if you haven't joined my database, hello. I over the summer, I said something like, I cannot believe American men are asking to do 50-50, because a Greek man, an Armenian man, a Turkish man,
Italians,
they would never. And I was like, and also the guys that are, I said something like, the guys that are upset with what I'm saying, they don't even have gold. Like, you can't get mad at me. Like, you can't get mad at gold diggers when you have no gold.
Right.
Anyway, we did a whole podcast episode after that because it was just in it was a lot. It was a lot of American men saying, this is why we're going out of the country. And I'm like, those women are more expensive, but continue.
Right.
Anyway, I'm not disagreeing with you on this. What's interesting though to me is that if you want, the only thing I would say, I'm not disagreeing with you on this at all. The only thing I would say is to the people that are in heteronormative relationships, I do think that a lot of men need to step up. I agree with you. A lot of men are certainly taking their time or, you know, I don't know, waiting for something. But I do also think that there's an opportunity here for women as well to participate in the saying, like, there's a way to make it easy, which is like when the date is when the date's being asked out, right? When you met your husband, you were like, I'll swing by and I'll get a Cabernet. Like you're kind of
limiting it.
You're kind of saying, I would say, for instance, like if a person's asking me, I'm like, you know, I've always wanted to try this restaurant. Hopefully we can go there. Like I'm still giving the info, you know
100%. And I got another hot take that leads into this. First dates should have the opportunity to be the best first date of your life, or have the opportunity to be one of the best nights of your life. And I went on a podcast recently and I said that they're like, no, like coffee should be a first date, or like a quick bite.
Yeah.
I agree with that.
And I 100% disagree with it. By you letting the coffee be the first date, you are enabling, but you're enabling men to do less.
Could you FaceTime? Would you have more of an interaction with the person prior to, or like?
No, for me, my first dates are always fun and extravagant, and like I call them marathons. Like I want my first date to be like 7 or 8 hours.
I have written a whole book on why that's such a bad idea.
But what if you don't like the girl?
You single.
But what if you don't like the girl?
Then why would I go on a date with her?
You didn't know. Like, what if you get on the date and you go, "This is," because you just get the feeling.
I've never happened.
Okay,
you've never been on a date.
Can
with
I
a girl?
give you? Are you open to feedback?
Yeah,
right now?
Of course. I love, and again, I believe that everybody has different opinions too. I wouldn't want you.
Okay,
to
but
just
I do this for a living.
No,
all right,
100%.
I didn't go viral and start becoming into dating. Like I've literally been a professional matchmaker for 15 years. Okay, so I'm coming at this from a very scientific perspective. Okay. First off, the best first dates are the ones that you're side by side. So you could be at a coffee shop, at a dinner, walking, whatever. As long as you're side by side, not across from each other, you're immediately like 80% chance of going to the second date.
Okay.
All right. Sitting across from people, it's really hard, especially if you're meeting off the internet. It's really hard to create the vibe of, you know, people have to naturally be able to talk and looking around. And when you're facing a stranger, it's a lot of eye contact. But that's the first thing. The second thing is that in the philosophies that I have, look, I've gotten thousands of people engaged. Okay. So I know my stuff here. Okay.
I'm not doubting that at all.
All right.
Yeah.
What I always say is that if you're going to meet someone off the internet, and this is specifically for off the internet, you don't know this person, you don't owe them shit. Right. A FaceTime call or a coffee date, I think is perfectly acceptable if you think of it as a meetup. Like, let's meet up. And then if we vibe, we will go on our first date the following day or 2 days later. Just hear me out for a second. Okay? Because I set up 300 dates during the lockdown and we had no choice. All the restaurants were closed. So 300 of those had to be walking dates. And that has been our highest success rate ever. 200 of those 300 walking dates went to second dates.
Okay.
Right? Now, in terms of a marathon date, it should be a 2-drink max, 2-hour max, because you're getting way too much proximity contact with, like, you're getting contact with that person that you're already envisioning a life. Like, it's just, you're ready to love bomb them.
I think a lot of girls complain about being love bombed.
Yeah.
I get what you're saying with love bomb, but I don't think by going on a long date, you're love bombing, or you're setting up to love bomb.
You're setting yourself up to fail. Because you're basically able to have a whole relationship. Why can't you break that up into, okay, our first date was 90 minutes or 2 hours, and then our second date will be tomorrow, and our third date will be 3 days from now. Like, break it up a little bit. See each other, you know, in a ponytail or in your sweats. Like, you got to get the whole versions of yourself, because, you know, your first and second date, it's not about how are we going to date. It's about here's who I am and here's who you are. And then after date 3 and 4 and 5, it's like, okay, and here's how we date each other.
Okay.
I'm telling you, if
I'm listening. Yeah, I'm
just take it in right now.
No, I'm taking it in, and
okay.
I mean this. Obviously, you do this for a living. You're way more. I don't have any skill sets when it comes to giving dating advice, but I know myself personally.
Where does the date end after 8 hours?
Wherever. Sometimes you go home together. Sometimes you don't. Sometimes it ends really well. Sometimes you just realize you're just friends and you're better off as friends, and you had an amazing night together.
I think the people that if you're after 8 hours and you feel like, oh, we could have just been friends, that probably could have been a person that you could have dated.
No, not at all. Because sometimes you just don't feel it. I've gone on dates with women that are beautiful when we had the best night ever. At the end of the night, you don't feel something, she didn't feel something, and we became friends. And making a friend after a date is a success, in my opinion. Maybe not romantically by meeting your partner, but every new friend you make and every person that you align with and you get to meet and share an experience with is a success, in my opinion. Maybe not romantically. Friends with anyone
you dated?
Gone on a date, not
first
dated.
Date.
On a first date?
Yeah.
No.
Exactly.
Really?
Me neither. I would
You
never
guys
be
know.
friends with someone I went on a first date.
Really?
I mean, just
No way.
I think because there's so much going on for me.
I have
like
a
I'm
full
on.
life.
I don't have.
need
Yeah, I don't
friends.
have time. I don't think I have time to maintain a friendship with
We're not
somebody
like
I went
texting
on
every
one
day, but
date
like
with.
you see these people you go on dates, you don't still follow them on, or maybe it's different because you've been married for a long time. But like on Instagram, you still don't follow people that you went on dates with, comment on
as
each
a
other, wish them
comedian, I
well.
don't follow
Never. You
almost
do
anybody.
that?
Yeah, I'm friends with the majority of people I've gone on
This
dates
is why
with.
you're single.
I mean, I wouldn't say that's the reason.
If a
but-
woman told me that the guy she's dating is commenting or liking on women he went on a first date with,
I wouldn't like that.
I would be like, no, absolutely not. You do not go date this guy. You got to stop doing that.
I don't want somebody liking or commenting on another person like on that level.
This is why, because you
even
know
on
what
a
it is.
date.
You're basically, the only reason you're doing that is because you want to sleep with them one day.
No, if I wanted to sleep with them that day, I would have tried to do it that day.
You could do it next week. I don't
But
know.
you
No one
don't
said that
feel
day.
Just because people are physically
But you
attracted to
didn't.
each
He
other,
didn't feel the attraction
Yeah.
to begin with.
just because
is what
someone's
he's
physically
saying.
attractive doesn't mean you want to sleep with them.
Sure. Why are you still talking to them?
Because we're friends.
You just went on a date with each other.
And we spent an amazing 8 hours together. And we saw an amazing concert together, and we can talk about this concert for years because it was so much fun.
What concert? People don't even talk about Taylor Swift.
Yeah, they do. I'm a big Swiftie.
Are you?
Yeah.
She was just in Toronto.
I know. I went twice.
Did you? She raised the price of my flight to Niagara because
Yeah,
people
I can
figured
imagine.
out you could go fly
Yeah.
into Buffalo.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
Yeah, I take a lot of heat for these long dates, but I'm a big advocate for.
Maybe in 2025, 2 hour maximum because Matchmaker Maria said so.
You know what? I will give it a shot just for you.
You have to give us the
I will-
feedback.
I
How
will-
long was your first date?
Long.
Stop.
I'm not saying
That's
anything. Not saying anything.
Not
here.
the first date. Hold up. It was not long. You went.
Oh, the first
Thank
time I
you.
met him.
That's
yeah,
what I
a few
mean.
hours. Yeah.
Okay, was it a date? Was it defined as a date?
It's the first night I met him.
That's a
The
date
fir-
to me.
The first time you meet someone is not a date.
Yes, it is.
Depends. Is it clearly communicated that this is a date?
No, you don't have to do that.
Then it's not a date.
That's only online dating speak, what you're saying right now.
I know.
That's
there's
strangers.
There's times where I've gone for walks with people, and I'm like, hey, you want to go for a walk? That's not a date. There's times where it's like, hey, I'm going to plan dinner. I'm going to pick you up in an Uber or send you a car, and then we're going to do X, Y, and Z. It's a date night.
This is not working for you.
I mean, I'm very happy. So maybe,
You can be happy, but this is not working.
I mean, I've met amazing people, and
Who apparently are your Instagram friends.
yeah, and that's great.
That's not working.
You don't think so? I'm such a believer that every amazing person, the more amazing people you have in your life, romantically or not romantically, is a win.
I would never be friends with any man I went on a first date with and think like, I was just like, oh yeah, let's be friends. I've never even said that to a man.
You've never said let's be friends with a man?
Unless they're my actual friends. I have friends that are men, but I'm not going on dates with them.
How long you been married for though? Maybe it's just because it's like a different time.
It's not a different, I literally do this for a living. I talk to single people all day. It's not that different. Most secure women are not friends with men that they went on one date with online.
Really?
Only
That
because
would
I
be
can't
weird.
maintain. I value my
I have my own
friendship, and I'm like
friendships.
of the quality versus quantity.
Thank you.
Personality now, where it's like I have so much going on in my life, and so grateful for it. Like between a tour, between never living home, like New York, LA.
Have you ever
To
considered
me, I
Ricky-
want like my few
Yeah.
friends that are quality, and that's who I have time with.
I
Have you
need to
ever
unfollow
considered
a lot of
Ricky?
people, apparently.
I know we got to wrap this
No.
episode, but Ricky, have you ever considered that maybe you are a good-looking man who these good-looking women you can still have proximity to them and they're okay with a good-looking man's validation on their photos? Because if you were ugly, maybe they wouldn't be friends with you.
I don't. Well,
Do you know what I'm saying, Sarah, or no?
Yeah, I
I kind of get what you're
understand.
saying, but then,
But I
like,
think
if I
anybody,
was,
if you were
You've got
attracted to
you've
somebody
got pretty
initially,
privilege.
100% I do. Yeah, and I do not take it for granted. I also work for this. I wasn't just born and I'm you know, like I take care of myself. I, you know, make sure my smile's nice. I work out every single day. I get my sleep, drink my water. I try and dress well. Today's might be an exception. But I usually
so unimpressed.
But usually I do my best to take care of myself. And I believe that there are no ugly people. There are lazy people and there are people that don't have time and energy. And then there are people that take time and energy. There is no such thing as an ugly person. I will die by the sword on that too. And that's another hot take if you want to take it. There are people who don't try and there are people who try.
Have you ever dated an overweight woman?
An overweight woman? Define overweight. Like I've dated a thicker woman. Yeah.
Okay.
Again, sometimes you
Has
get
to be
people
attraction. Yeah.
Yeah, sometimes you can meet somebody and like they might not be objectively beautiful, but they're subjectively beautiful, right? To me, they're like.
Well, I think attraction is subjective.
Yeah.
All hands down.
Obviously,
I've dated the ugliest of
But you
guys,
were attracted
and I
to
knew
them.
they were ugly, but I had a feeling.
women have very different ways of judging attraction though than men, straight men.
Yeah.
that is true. Women judge very differently.
Yeah.
But it's even
I talk
easier.
about this in my book too.
Yeah,
anyway,
it's
let's
even-
talk about your book
yeah.
before we wrap up this episode. You want to finish your point?
No, it's okay.
Okay. All right. Ricky Liorti also has the book Heartbreak Love. It is a collection of poetry, right?
Yeah.
Ooh, I'm so excited to get my hands on this. I got it signed. And it says here, in heartbreak, we are reminded of our capacity to love. Sincerely, Ricky. Ooh,
It also
I love
says
that.
have a first hour for 8-hour first date.
Yeah, somewhere in there. I just slipped that in there in the back.
Oh, yeah. With that said, Ricky, where can people find you?
People can find me online, your pal Rick, on all social media accounts. The book is Our Heartbreak Love on Instagram. It's available where all books are sold.
I love that. Tara, people can find you on Instagram,
At
YouTube, all of it.
At Tara Jokes, all the platforms. And don't forget my podcast, Coffee Talk with Tara Cannistraci. Every Monday morning for 10 minutes, we have a cup of coffee
That's
together.
how I spend my Mondays now. It's great.
I love that.
All right. Well, that's our show. Thank you so much for listening. If you enjoyed this, don't forget to rate, subscribe, tell your friends, tell your siblings, tell your mother. We'll get you a new stepdad. We can make this work. And of course, don't forget to pre-order my book. All those links are in the show notes. Be lovable, but more importantly, be likable. See you next week.